Hi traders, welcome, and let's just have a look at what data is coming up. Well, that's good English, isn't it? Let's have a look at the data that is coming up. Not much data today. UK inflation tomorrow expected to be zero, expected to be flat, and building permits in the US, not much. Inflation for the US on Wednesday. Then we've got Fed minutes. All eyes are on Fed minutes just for any comments on possible rate rises. Thursday, UK retail sales, marginal increase for the Fed. Friday, some European manufacturing inflation data and not much else. So fairly thin once we get past UK inflation. So let's have a look at the pound US dollar. I've taken the fibs off because we've got a cluster of moving averages underneath us, and we're sitting on the top of it, not doing much with this. Whoops. What I'm trying to show you is this resistance. So if we look to the far left, it was very congested here, and we finally sort of actually fell down here back in December. And at the moment, with the way this is not holding, this could happen, but it's sideways at best. If we go into inflation data holding the 20 EMA, that's something, but we could just roll over here. So, and when something's boxed like that, it's best just to stay away and wait until we get direction. And if we do start closing under, let me think, we're literally only 100 points underneath closing up all these moving averages if we drop. If we just dip into support at something like 500, 525, then we could just form some sort of hammer tomorrow and then push up. But it's very flat. Looking at the pound yen, this, you can see from this, let's look at the 60-minute chart first. We came into the open with a little bit of a squirt and then basically sold off. Well, not sold off, we started selling right from quite soon after the open into the first Londoner hour, and we've not recovered since. However, we have had the first higher close of the day as far as Europe and London and of course the US session is concerned. So it's right on support level. It's boxed like the pound US dollar. Would I trade that? Yeah, I would buy a position there, keep my stop just under today's session and see if that could work. Otherwise I'd leave it and then wait until tomorrow, because the daily is on the pound yen is very, very similar to the pound US and struggling. We had a gap up here, we closed it a week or so ago and been struggling in a very narrow range since. Pound Aussie's had a decent move to the downside. The strength in the gold has tipped this one over the edge. So as we go into UK inflation, we've seen some selling, and this is quite a nice seller's buy here. So, and we have just narrowly closed underneath it, so we just need to see if that can continue. How would you trade that one? It's held up so well. I've been looking for it to hold up and run into an attempt to test the 161 extension. I would leave it and see if we can hold at this on a test of this 50 EMA. This is the 20 EMA up here and the 50 EMA here. If we can come back and do a proper test of the 50 EMA and this support and hold, I would trade it. Otherwise, I would just steer clear. That's the pound pairs. Let's look at the euro pairs. So at the weekend video, I talked about this dipping into this 35-45 area, and we got close to that at the lows. We printed a 58. So I think with Fed coming up, if this closes underneath here and you know, future highs over the next couple of days sell, then the Fed minutes could just tip this over the edge. Ordinarily, when you break up out of a setup like this, I would expect this to hit resistance, come back and test support, and then run and test. So we've had this move here. We're pulling back to this support here. If that holds, I'd then expect that 200 to go and get tested. But at this stage, it's range bound again. So Forex, you know, it's summer. There's a lot going on. Markets are basically pausing, waiting for some sort of direction from the Fed. In the meantime, when there has been some weak US data, the market's jumped on that and sold the dollar. So again, stand aside, wait and see where we are, and let's see if that can close. If we open and close underneath that, then obviously short it. If we hold that, close above it, then buy a pullback and see if we can get up to that 200 EMA. So a lot of indecision in these Forex pairs. You know, it's peak of the summer, a lot of traders away from their desks, volumes low, and we are seeing sideways action. Some guys in the room went long the FTSE at the low, which turned out to be a good move. We'll look at the 60-minute chart in a minute, but that was a lot of support there going back to June 30th. So if we can build on that, then I think we could potentially at least come and test this resistance up here. But as far as the bearish sentiment is concerned, we're really struggling. We had 2 heavy selling days, and we are not testing the 20 EMA. We're not even coming up and testing the 20 EMA. So there is some fundamental weakness in that chart. So unless we can come in tomorrow and the buyers can pick up some dips and start pushing that higher, that looks as if that could just roll over. Let's look at the DAX. DAX is pretty similar. Yeah, so we've dipped under that fib level. Sorry about this. Dipped under that fib level, and we're holding this support from this big bar here on the July 9th. So we're just clinging on. And the Dow is stronger, I think. Yeah, the Dow is actually testing the 20 EMA, unlike the FTSE and the DAX. So all eyes on the close on this one today. Options expiring on Friday, so I'm looking for big numbers. So 17.5 could be the big number. We could push up into this resistance, and then into Friday options expiry, just come down and settle at 17.5. We have actually got a 50 and 200 EMA cross up here, which is a very bearish signal. So if we come up and test that 700, we may find a lot of selling pressure coming into that one. So that's pretty much covered all the main. Let's look at the US dollar CAD. We did look at that one, didn't we? Sideways. Let's look at oil and gold quickly, and then we'll start doing a stock scan. Any stocks you're interested in, or actually physically in, let me know. Actually, I can't see the question box again, can I? Where's that gone? Oh, here it is. So we had this sort of gentle buying pattern down here, 3 days of heavier buying. Was holding up. The 50 MA at the moment is bending down. It's still, until we can close above 11.25, I would still be bearish on that one. Oil, a little attempt to push higher today, not got very far so far. Let's see where we are. This is traditionally the time where I expect to see any sort of volume come into the oil. So I think we might just tap into that resistance and then just get another leg down. Of course, close above 43.50 on this continuous contract, and that could be a different story. So some are low volumes dominating. So unless you've got any questions, let's move over to stocks. Catch up with a few UK stocks. Let me get rid of these. Sorry, this keeps popping up. Let me get rid of this. AA. That, at the moment, at this stage, that looks as if that is not happy at all up there and could be wanting to see 350. There was a seller's bar up there on July 2nd. Other UK stocks. What I'm interested in is, let's look at the miners. The bounce in the gold has definitely helped these miners. All they're actually doing though is heading into resistance areas. So if you're long Vedanta, be careful about 536, and even look out for sell signals up there. Fresnillo. Very, very similar sort of patterns you expect. Struggling with that 50 MA. It's actually got a reversal bar on the 50 MA from Friday. If you're long, just manage your stop. Nice buying pattern down here at 629. Just manage your stop. Any stocks you're in, let me know. Let me look at any other. Just flicking across my watch list on the UK. Right, let's have a look at the other UK ones I'm interested in. I'm interested in Bovis. Now this sold off and then bounced. This was, the last I looked at it, it was right down here 11.17. These housing stocks are getting fearful of a potential rate rise. Divergence up here. See the RSI hit a lower level on that last push up. So definitely struggling. Would I short that? the fact it's holding the 20 makes that tougher. I would wait until we get the inflation out of the way, but keep an eye on those housing stocks. Let's look at Barrett's. I can't find it. Let's look at Persimmon. I'll find it later on. Yeah, you see that's got a faltering spinning top up there. That's holding the highs just, but these are definitely losing momentum up here. That to me looks as if that at least wants to come and find some support at the very least. Right, let's go over to the US ones I'm interested in. Try to keep this nice and short tonight. NVAX 13 has got bought so far. That's very high, but it's a very nice stock. If you're interested in that one, I would just hold out for 12.50 on that one. Look at some other healthcare. Teva, that's a nice stock, but it's very high. St Jude's, that's a very bullish bar there. Major support. St Jude's is potential for another push higher. See where we close on that one, but that's it's had some nice pushes up here from October, consolidated through January, February, March, pushed up. Saw some distribution, but that is in play again. It has got congestion above, I admit, but it has coped with that in the past, so I would suggest that you might want to buy a pullback in that one. ISRG, I would leave that, that's gone. Gilead. This is a key level here, this 11650. It's had a lovely move up here from May. Again, I think this is a very strong sector, so if that gets a pullback to that 116, you might want to take a move in that one. Bristol Street Myers. Again, yeah, that's in the past. Up till now, this is seeing the dips getting bought. So we've had a few days of higher closes here, and that's I would look at 62.73 on that one. Just have a look at any top movers today. Nothing shines out there. Let's have a look. Nope. There's nothing I'm following there. No, that's messy. No, okay, there's nothing I'm following there, so I will take another peek at that later on. Any questions at this stage? Any stocks you're in? Look at some of the techies. Some of the techies have taken quite a hit, and yet you know, it has been a good sector. Goldman Sachs has come right into support. Nvidia had a tremendous run. Let's see how that one is later. Bear with me one moment. Okay, unless you have any questions, I'm going to leave it there. It's nice and short. Bottom line, you know, we are in summer doldrums. So like I said, we've got the Fed minutes on Wednesday. What do I think is most likely to happen? I don't think, given the nervousness in the market with China, some of the issues that are coming out of Asia, and some of the last couple of job reports have been okay, not great. If pressures on inflation are very low, I think we're definitely getting closer to a US rate rise. I'm not sure we're quite there yet. I think my money would be on November, December. I don't think the markets would. I don't think the Fed would want the markets to get weak this part of the cycle. So I'm keeping an eye on the pound pairs just to see if they can pick up from here, and looking to see if we can get a move out of the data. So join me unless you've got any more questions. I'm just going to wind it up from here and keep you up to date with what I'm thinking about the pound, what I'm seeing in the pound. But no, I mean, at the moment, we've seen some selling. All we've done is come into the 20 EMA. We've not dipped underneath it. There wasn't a lot of selling pressure. In fact, as we speak, we're seeing a certain amount of buying in the pound pairs here at the moment. Just seeing a little bit of an uptick. So we'll look at that tomorrow and trade that tomorrow. All right. So no more questions coming through. So unless final call for questions, otherwise I'm just going to wind this up and send the recording out. I do like the as far as stocks are concerned, that the miners are still picking up bids at the moment. Healthcare. A few of the healthcare sectors have pulled back, which are worth looking at. Financial services, Goldman Sachs and Bank of America and so on seem to have had some weakness, but potentially finding some bidders. And in the UK, that housing sector is going to make a decision, I think, tomorrow as to whether there are inflationary pressures which will see a rate rise in the UK, which will cause problems. The Bank of England and the Fed are getting much closer to rate rises, and I think that could send a bit of a shockwave, albeit short to medium term in the housing market, and potentially longer term. So I'm keeping an eye on that. All right, thanks for joining me, and see you in the room tomorrow.